Philanthropy is an American tradition. Americans are generous with their time, with their talent, and with their treasure. In 2017 alone, Americans donated $390 billion to charity. This is something that has gone on for us for at least the last century. And we are known for giving and for giving back. And philanthropy as we know it today goes back 100 years to the days of Andrew Carnegie and John D. Rockefeller. These were wealthy barons who used their wealth to start traditional institutions as we know them, foundations and institutions that were good for society. It was about the wealthy giving back to serve societal needs. As a young child growing up in Brooklyn, I was the daughter of a single parent. And even though I excelled at school academically, I always got all A's, and if I didn't, my mother told me about it when I got home. But we didn't have the money to afford college. And it's through the generosity of people who were philanthropic that I got a full scholarship to Princeton University, which was a transformative experience for my life. It opened up a whole new world of opportunities to me. So, for the last 100 years, philanthropy has served us. Yet, 100 years later, we still have millions of people living in poverty. We still struggle with homelessness and with hunger. So we say to ourselves, maybe it's time to reinvent philanthropy again. We need to look at philanthropy very differently. I can tell you that donors look at philanthropy differently. Today's donors want to see a return on their investment. And they also want to see the changes that they're making and how it's impacting people now, not just after they have passed on. So, here at Fairfield County's Community Foundation, which is my organization, we realize we have to think differently about philanthropy and how do we change the way we meet the challenges of today. So the important thing, we start by maybe we need a different perspective. We need a different mindset. We need to think and act differently. We're looking at philanthropy from the standpoint of, is it really just top-down? Is it only the wealthy with their wealth and power that can influence? Or do we have the ability, with the ubiquitous nature of information and technology, to harness the power of every person and create an opportunity for everyone to be a philanthropist? So, how do we think about this in terms of gathering all voices and making philanthropy more democratic, or democratizing philanthropy, making it more accessible to all? Well, one way we thought about this is through Giving Day. Now, for those of you who have not lived in Fairfield County, Giving Day for us is a 24-hour online giving experience throughout Fairfield County. Our community foundation works with sponsors to really bring causes to life and build awareness of philanthropic services that are being done by the nonprofit sector. In 2018, we began this in 2014. This year, March 1st, we raised $1.4 million from 13,000 individual donors in 24 hours. And since we began 5 years ago, we have raised nearly $6 billion for over 650 nonprofits, and 55,000 people have participated in Giving Day. And I said 6 billion, it's 6 million, but it's still a lot of money. And we're doing this because we want people to feel included. We want people to feel the power of every individual. Because for a donation as little as $10, you can be part of this experience and know that at the end of it, you've created something that's much bigger than yourself as an individual. And that's what it's all about. Individuals, corporations, families, businesses, pooling together their resources to help their local causes and to help their local communities. So another way we think about philanthropy in terms of being inclusive is how do we harness the power of people by thinking about partnerships and what kinds of partnerships. So we partner with educational institutions, with the public sector, with businesses and the private sector to look at problems and look at best practice solutions together. But most importantly, we listen to the voice of the community and of the beneficiaries themselves. We think it's so important for people to tell us what they need, not for us to take the top-down approach and tell them what they need. So, I want to give you an example of this in action. Meet Nina Perez. Nina Perez is an amazing woman, but she had an extremely difficult childhood. And at the age of 15, she graduated high school, but she was a single mother. So she could not afford to attend college. And she found herself at one point living in a battered shelter. At one point in her life, she was even homeless. For 15 years, Nina worked as a medical assistant, but even with that, she could not make ends meet. So, in 2007, Nina found out about a program that Fairfield County's Community Foundation called the Family Economic Security Program, and I'm going to call it FESP from now on. She found out about this FESP program at Norwalk Community College. And what this program did was provide academic coaching, career counseling, financial counseling, scholarships, and emergency funds. The whole purpose was, how do you take away the barriers that prevent low-income students from succeeding and persisting and getting the degrees that they need? So Nina graduated from this program. She got a certificate in culinary arts. She later got an associate's degree from Norwalk Community College. And then she went to Monroe College and got her bachelor's degree in hospitality and culinary management. Today, Nina she runs her own business, Kitty Kitchens. It was always her dream to be a chef. And she is the executive chef at Grace Farms in New Canaan. So, if all of these wonderful things are happening, why do we still feel that we need to reinvent and reinvest in philanthropy? Well, one of the challenges that we face is that Fairfield County is actually #1 in income inequality of the top 100 metro areas in the United States. 42% of residents living in Fairfield County are what we call house burdened. In other words, they are spending more than 30% of their total income on housing costs. So, what should we do about this? If you're a nonprofit organization, I encourage you to reach across to the private sector to see what you can learn from them. If you're a private sector, from the private sector, reach across to the nonprofits to see what great work they're doing. And if you're in the government center, pull everyone together, because we recognize that there isn't any one organization. The issues are too great. There isn't any one organization or any one sector that has the resources to do this alone. It's so rewarding when you know that something you can do can contribute to making someone else's life better. I now consider myself a philanthropist. So together, we can make a significant difference in our society, and together we can thrive. Thank you.